Hey guys, it's Mike Monty, one half of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. And we want to reach out to all the fans out there who have supported our show to say thank you. Thank you for making 2021 one of our best years. And one of our best years was because of Anchor. Anchor, the way that you can have your voice heard. You can be just like us. Record your own podcast. Use the Anchor tools to edit your podcast. Use it on a phone. Use it on your computer. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all with Anchor, they're totally free. So be just like Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. We're looking together for a great 2022. We've got huge guests coming on board. Oh, yeah. You probably wonder why Jimmy's not here right now. Well, he's prepping for one of the best interviews we're about to have, and we're going to surprise someone with. So hang aboard with us, and don't forget, be like us and use Anchor.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV, out of Long Island, New York, out of Ronkonkoma. At the borders, our super producer, Matty Ice. Matty, how are you, bud?
I'm doing super good. I'm excited for the weekend.
You're excited for what, the snow? We're supposed to get a freaking blizzard. What's there to be excited about? You're going to have to even shovel, Matty.
Besides that,
Besides the blizzard that I'm going to have to shovel.
well, I'm excited to have a nice snowing day, relax.
Matt, as you're getting a little bit older now, but you got a long way to go, brother. But as you're getting a little bit older now, how do you feel about snow compared to when you were let's say 10? Are you starting to like it less?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
For the most part,
Okay, you're normal.
the time I hate it.
Yeah. It's brutal.
I'll like it for like 2 hours when the snow's nice and white, and the rest of the time,
Yeah, that's fair. It's pretty to look at, but the second you got to turn the ignition key, it's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking. How do you feel about snow, Mike? Do you still like it? Did you ever like it?
I did at one point, but I got to
Okay.
tell you, I'm tired of snow. I'm tired of New York. I'm tired of the cold weather.
You can't be tired of New York. We're lucky enough to live in New York. You say it every week.
Fantastic. Well, no, I say if you're lucky enough. Well, I guess you're right. I do say if you're lucky
and we
enough
are
in New
lucky
York.
to live in New York.
And by the way, Chris Lee
I
has
think.
posted, just so you know, posted upcoming show this Sunday.
Hey,
Wisteria Hall is slated to play
Yeah.
Rap is Crap
Yeah.
with Barry
Well,
Windham on the own indie music
It's
stage.
the Wisteria Hall Rednecks. This is going to be great. I'm psyched.
Maria Davis says it's snowing here. Donna Barber, hey guys, welcome. Hey, how are you? Davio, what up, man? Good to see you.
Happening?
Chris Lee, I mentioned before, he is in the house, and one of our main guys,
Hello,
ESO,
Mike.
in the house. ESO, how are you? ESO is now created Tuesday with Tony Atlas
ESO, man.
shirts
Good
and
stuff.
sweaters, and
Never-ending
we're ready to
good
go.
stuff.
Loose Cannon in the house. How are you, buddy? We're excited for our
up,
guest
Luce?
today. Should be exciting. Rick Howard, how are you?
What's
He's
happening?
getting 8 to 12 inches of snow this
Oy.
weekend in Maine.
Oh,
I was
boy.
hearing it was like 24 inches in Boston.
Really?
Do you think the big fat whale runs
Don't
around
you
with
realize
no slippers?
But
in
don't
the
you
snow?
realize how awesome? Yeah, he probably does. But you know what's even more exciting for the big fat whale in Boston is the snow's going to melt. Then he gets to swim in it because there's going to be lots of water all over the. He's going to be in like the
And he's
biggest
got a
puddles
blowhard.
on the main streets, the big puddles. You'll see the Boston whale doing the backstroke. He likes heavy snowfalls. They melt eventually.
Why do you pick on the Boston Whale? Anyway,
I don't know.
everybody out there, we're going to have
Why
a
not?
great show today. We have author L.A. Taylor in the house.
Yes, sir.
And along with her good friend and our good friend,
Yes, sir.
Andrew Anderson is also joining us.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get to discuss her book. But before we get into it, Jimmy,
Okay.
The View host slams irresponsible Sarah Palin for eating out while COVID positive.
Wow.
Basically giving the finger to New Yorkers. The host of The View were pretty annoyed with Sarah Palin. You remember Sarah Palin?
Sure.
Good-looking
Absolutely.
older lady.
Absolutely.
Or younger lady,
I
depending on
remember
your age.
Sarah Palin.
On
Sure.
Thursday, it was revealed that the former governor of Alaska went out to eat while knowingly knowing she was COVID positive.
That's rough.
Palin was first started dining indoors in a Manhattan restaurant over the weekend despite being unvaccinated, according to the moderator, Ms. Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
She's privileged and is an arrogant, entitled person, so she thinks she can do whatever she wants.
Right.
Joy Behar said, adding that the politician is dying for relevancy.
Wow.
Palin then returned to the restaurant on Wednesday to apologize and was allowed to dine outdoors. This left the panel of The View baffled and destroyed. What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
What are my thoughts? Oh, boy, you're really unleashing me here. She's a privileged and an arrogant, entitled person, says Joe Behar. From what? From her penthouse apartment view?
Stinger's in the house.
Wait
What's
a
up?
minute. Wait, what's up, Stinger? Wait a second here. She's calling somebody else an arrogant and entitled person. Have you seen the people on The View?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to get over their castle mansion wall, and we'd be beaten up by the security guards. But they're not arrogant and entitled. No entitlement going on here with The View. No, of course not.
Rick Howard says.
That's what The View sounds like.
Rick Howard says Palin's a smoke show. Smoke show means hot, right?
Yeah.
I think, right?
How can you argue
Rick,
with
can you
that?
clarify that?
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah.
Jason Moaning in the house. So look, dude, I got to tell you, I'm surprised that The View is really taking the stance because they are really left. Like they're so far on the left.
I guess so. Yeah.
And
I
Whoopi
would like
Goldberg
they were
is so-
left out, but that's okay. Go ahead. You know.
What do you think
I
Ted
really don't care
Danson
about
was
their
thinking
opinions.
when he was dating Whoopi Goldberg? What was that dude thinking?
Wait a minute. You know the Pharaoh doesn't pay attention to this shit.
You
What
did
you
not
just
know
say?
Ted Danson
Wait,
dated Whoopi
is
Goldberg?
Is that the same? Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
That's the same guy, and he dated Whoopi.
Wait a
Very
minute.
interesting.
That's Golden Girls, isn't it?
No, that's where you want to go. Where everybody
Yeah,
knows
okay,
your
yeah, all
name.
right,
That's
sorry.
not the Golden Girls. Da-da-da-da-da. Well, I don't know. That's a strange couple. How did that even get started? How long did it last?
Not long, because Whoopi. Ted
happened?
decided to do blackface at some kind of roast, and
shit.
people got offended.
Whoops.
So that kind of ruined their
Holy
relationship.
Al Jolson, Batman.
Yeah, you can't do that stuff, man.
Yeah, no. Apparently Al couldn't, and he did it anyway.
And if you didn't know it, that is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy,
Hi.
along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall.
With who?
Bart Griggs.
Bartman. Thank you.
Oh, this is becoming a regular thing now.
Well, you
see what you?
started it.
No, I didn't start it. Your producer started it.
Did he really?
Well, you actually
that's true.
started
You
it.
made sure that it continued. Thank you, Matt.
And we're excited to have the great band Wisteria Hall. Who will be singing? I'll say it again with Barry Windham.
But it's not exactly Wisteria Hall. It's the Wisteria Hall Rednecks.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be insane.
I hope Doink joins in. You think Doink will join in too?
He's a pretty cool guy. I can see
It'd be
him.
fun.
Yeah, I can see him.
Doink, Wyndham, you and Bart.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
That'll
Wisteria Hall sings such great songs. It's In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Hit like and subscribe. Listen to them on Spotify, Apple Music, Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh Twitch TV page.
That's true.
And if you're lucky enough to live in New York,
Thank you.
catch us on Channel 15 every Tuesday, where you'll be seeing our guest tonight in the compressed version. On Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. and on Saturdays at 11:30 p.m. head-to-head with Saturday Night Live.
There you go.
And on Channel 20 at Tuesdays at 1 a.m. We want to thank the 80,000 or so people that are watching our show weekly on cable television.
Yeah.
We want to also thank Amazon Music, who has joined on with Monte and the Pharaoh, so we feel blessed and humbled. And again, the snow is coming for many of us, but it is nice for Saturday because it is Royal Rumble Saturday.
This is true.
Which is always a big
Everybody
deal
will be
if you are
trapped inside
wrestling.
watching it. Yeah.
Unless
At
you
least in
lose
New York.
power, which would like totally
Could you
suck.
imagine? And the winner of the Royal Rumble. That's it. Just cuts right out. You're done. Then you got to go on your phone.
Dude, before we go to commercial break, I just got to tell you one thing. Rick Howard said Long Island's #1. Yeah, Rick, it's okay. I'm a little tired of it.
Yeah.
Outback Jack, he'll be in the house on March 5th, sorry. I watched, Maddie, I don't know if you will get HBO or HBO Max.
I do.
Did you watch Mayor of Eastbound?
What? What is that?
Oh, my God.
What is Mayor of
It's a
Eastbound?
7-part series.
7 parts.
HBO.
Okay.
It is incredible.
What's
Incredible.
What is it? I don't even know what it is.
It's about a police officer in this town that's a little bit corrupt.
A little bit.
It's with the girl from the Titanic.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Maria Davis, Thursday nights, #1 broadcast. Thank you, Maria. We're hoping
thank
to
you.
be the world's #1 broadcast shortly so we could beat that. Hello, my name is Hannibal.
Watch my podcast.
Watch my
Hey,
podcast.
can I get
am
this in
Hannibal.
real fast? I know we got to get to a break and then get on with the good stuff. I just want to really.
By the way,
quickly-
just real quick, I don't want to interrupt. I
hit
just
it.
thought of something.
Oh, sure.
Did you catch on Hannibal's channel? And people should tune into it as Blaze eats a beaver tail. Those are the videos he's putting on. Blaze eating a beaver. Eat that beaver tail,
Does she
and
throw
I'll
some,
eat your beaver.
Does she throw some seasoning at least on it to mix up the video, make it interesting?
Your beaver tastes better than mine. I am Hannibal. Watch my podcast.
Watch my beaver. Watch my beaver. I wanted to.
This week on Hannibal, Blaze eats a beaver tail.
That's great. What, 2 views? Hers and his. That's all.
Well, it had like a lot of views.
That's pretty rough.
People like to
man.
watch Blaze eat
That
beaver.
that is really rough. That's
Nothing better than a Blaze eating a beaver.
how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Oh man.
All right, go ahead. What you
That's
saying?
rough, dude. I hate to get serious just for a second, but I would like to pay my respects to very recently we lost here on the island. We lost the legend, the late Clark Gillies, who was part of the Islander dynasty. And quite honestly, being a Ranger fan my whole life, and I know you're a Ranger fan too, it's very, very complicated with my history with the Islanders, so I won't bore everybody with the details. But basically,
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, thank you. No problem.
Just
I'll spare you all. The thing about Clark Gillies is all those years ago when the Islanders were winning cup after cup when we were going to school, I always wished that if I could take one Islander off that team and put him on mine, it was Clark Gillies. The guy was class the whole way, a Hall of Famer, and a great, great, great two-way player, and an absolute legend. So rest in peace, Clark Gillies, from this Ranger fan.
One thing I thought you were going to say, do you know this is the anniversary of the
Where are we?
passing of Andre the Giant?
Oh, that's really. How old would Andre been at this point?
It's got to be like 70-something.
Yeah, he must have been heading towards 80, I would think, because he died.
And you will go to Peanut?
Anybody got up?
Anyway,
Peanuts?
we'll be right back to this commercial break where we're going to have author L.A. Taylor in the house, and then we'll bring in Andrew Anderson. I'm very excited for this interview.
Good stuff, folks. Stay tuned.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite 4-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV, out of Ronkonkoma, New York, where we're welcoming author L.A. Taylor. How are you, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very excited to have you. So tell me, how's everything going out there in your life right now with what's going on in the world, with COVID and everything that's happening? How are you holding up?
Oh, fine. You know,
Yeah?
it's the same here as it is there.
Do you miss, did you live up here at one point or another?
I went to school in New York City.
Did you
FIT.
really?
I'm an FIT graduate, yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at you. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that. How did you end up going to FIT? That's a big time school. Holy cow.
Fashion design, pattern making in the 80s. I don't want to give my age, but yeah, in the 80s I was FIT student.
Was that your passion?
Lived in Chelsea.
Was that your passion, designing clothes,
It
things
was
like
at
that?
the time. It was at the time, and then I outgrew that, and then I evolved into. I had my own businesses sewing. That was my trade, a seamstress, and then from there I transitioned into. I moved to Tampa, so I was into weightlifting, bodybuilding, going to wrestling school. That's how I landed in wrestling
So
genre.
how does it turn out from being, into fashion design and then deciding, hey, I want to become this bodybuilder and a pro wrestler? Like, how does that even happen?
Mystique. Mutation. I don't know.
Were you always athletic as a kid? I mean, growing up?
Yeah.
So when you hit the weightlifting, was that just a natural transition, I would assume, no?
It was awesome. I mean, I just bloomed too. I mean, it's a great thing for women to get involved in, self-esteem wise, physique wise. And here I am, 60 years old, still doing it. 30 years, never a day off. 30 years, half of my life I've been lifting weights. Yeah.
So
Owned a gym, actually. Kevin and I owned a gym together in the Florida Keys, Froggy's Fitness. We did that for a decade, and yeah.
Did you ever have to put a guy in his place? Like, at some point, you must have had to turn to
What
somebody
do
like,
you think?
you know what? Shut the fuck! Dude. Give him
do
a
you
smack.
think?
If you give him a
Wait a minute.
smack across the room.
No, I like the superset, okay? What the fuck you doing with my weights? Leave my 45s out in that fucking Smith machine, motherfucker.
Well, considering I probably weighed as much as one of your barbells,
That's where New York comes in.
Hey,
baby.
there you go.
hey, you know what? It's funny. It's funny you talk about it. I was telling my wife the other
awesome.
day, right? So I'm at the gym, and some kid comes up to me.
Okay.
And tell me, Ellie, tell me if I'm wrong here, because
Here
I
we go.
thought we were past these days. Some kid comes up to me, goes, "How many more sets you got?" I just
here we go.
stared at him. Does anyone do that anymore? Does anyone not realize like that was passe years ago? You don't ask how long someone's going to be on a machine, or am I out of line?
So, yeah, that would get your head knocked off
Nice.
in my day. So I have a gym in my house now, and I kind of, COVID, it was before COVID. I was burnt out with babysitting adults owning a gym. So I work out at home. But I remember guys mostly, they would try to push me off the weights. And that's where my attitude came from. And that attitude moved me forward to where I am now. And I am not passive at all.
Let me ask you that. Did you have a self-esteem issue, and that's why you started lifting weights, or was it?
I think most women do when they're young. They don't outgrow it. 30 years old. I started lifting about 32, and yeah, it really it blooms. You feel good about yourself. You empower and liberate yourself.
Do you ever wish that you started younger? Because I'm surprised 32 is like, usually like my.
Well, I had kids. I was a mom.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you had enough weightlifting to do already. Okay, all right. I can see that. There you go.
Does Kevin ever come into your gym and say, how many more sets do you have? And
Like
you
stand
smack him
there with his
around?
arms folded like, yo.
No, he'd say, no,
What a
you know what he
gentleman.
would do
He's a
to me?
gentleman.
Oh, you could do the 85-pound dumbbells. Go ahead.
There you
can do
go.
it. Come on, push it.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Snap.
So he's throwing extra weight on when you're in the middle of a rep? Wow. It's all right.
No, come on. You could do the 80s. You could do the
There you
85s.
go. Go, Kev.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you become this fashion. I'm not gonna call you a mogul, but why not? Fashion mogul.
Okay,
Then
I like
becomes
that.
a weightlifter.
Right.
What makes you go into professional wrestling, and how do you get your start in professional wrestling?
Well, I wasn't in professional wrestling. I went to wrestling school. I actually went to wrestling school with Glenn Jacobs.
Okay.
We went to Larry Malenko's school, and Dean Malenko was the teacher of that school at the time. I became really good friends with Larry and Glenn. And I couldn't wrestle Glenn. I was the only girl in the school. I wrestled Prince Iakia. Is that his name?
Sure.
Yeah, he was the only one. And Dean, too. They would get in the ring and teach me some moves. I didn't like being in the ring. I liked doing it as a sport. I didn't like being the entertainer part of it. That was not my thing. But that was coinciding with bodybuilding. It was just, I was doing sport. I was getting in shape. And once I started getting in shape, it was full throttle. I just wanted to get in shape.
Was it easy for you to get into that school? I'm just curious. Or was that like you got to know, because it is a Malenko after all.
You're talking about 1990 in Tampa. Yeah, it was easy.
Okay. Because
It
nowadays,
was before the whole diva thing too. Well, yeah. I mean, it was easy.
okay,
Of course.
Yeah, because nowadays anybody can train you. The dentist down the road's training half these guys. I mean, wrestling, it seems like anybody can get a trainer and just, hey, I'm a wrestler. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not an expert.
Okay, that's fair.
The book that I wrote, I became an expert at the historical part of it. And I didn't know anything about wrestling. I wasn't a mark. I wasn't a fan. I was a wife. I was a wife more than in the 4 decades. I've been the 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020. So it's not 40 years, but it is 4 decades. And I learned a lot. He's a great storyteller. He's a treasure trove of information, and I knew that a book needed to be written because historically you go back and you guys, when you talk about the past, how great it was, and that's what I wrote a book about, how great it was and how it evolved. And I'm writing a series. This is the first book that came out. The other 2, it's called a Roman Eclat, and it's a story with a key. And so there is a key to this whole story. It's just not a story. There is a key, and there's a meaning behind the whole thing. And I got to thank Kevin for that, because he started the project in the fire under my ass, and I'm hooked. I mean, it's a great story.
Did it come easy writing this book? Or were there struggles at times? Did you say to yourself, what have I gotten myself into, or did it come naturally?
I think bodybuilding helped that, because once I put my ass in the seat, I sat there for 5 fucking years, 8 hours a day, and I did it every fucking day.
Okay. Okay.
At 3 o'clock, I listened to Frank Sinatra, had my drink, and the fucking wheels kept on spinning, and that was my day every day for 5 fucking years.
Were you approachable, or did you turn into Jack Nicholson from the Shining? You're disturbing me.
I didn't leave the house.
Okay.
The wicker seat, it still scarred my ass.
And how long did it take you to write the book? The total amount of time?
It took me 4 years, actually.
Nice. 4 years. Beautiful.
How many
4 years.
How many books do you have under your belt right now?
This is my first one.
This is the first one.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to bring in friend of the show and your friend Andrew Anderson. And I was hoping to get your book before the show because I really want to read it. But it's good. It kind of works out because it's going to snow, so I'll be sitting in my living room and I'm going to read the whole book in one sitting.
And then watch the Rumble.
But I want and what?
And then watch the Rumble
If I have power.
That's true. Yeah.
But and then we want to talk about the book and the premise of the book. And we want to tell people where to get it. So after this commercial break, we'll be back with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about the book.
We shall return
Great.
in a minute.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. BENBUIE34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Tell him Wolfie sent you.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops? Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, where we've got our special guest, author L.A. Taylor, and star the wrestler.
Yeah.
And pro wrestling superstar who we love, Andrew Anderson, and a hell of a singer.
There he is.
Andrew, how are you, buddy? L.A., we're back.
How you doing?
Good, man. It's good to see you. I haven't seen your face in a long time, my friend.
Don't you miss it?
Well, I got a real quick question for both of you. Do you guys enjoy eating beaver sandwiches?
What?
Beaver tail sandwiches?
Oh,
Beaver tail. What?
There we go. Just
you
for
mean
the
beaver tail? Yeah.
just for the record, I haven't been to Canada in 6 years, and I'm not back anytime soon, as far as I know. Kevin and I we recently found out that we're being advertised going to Canada to wrestle, but we're not. We're actually going to be April 24th. We are going to be at Wrestle Daytona, the 23rd and the 24th of April. Linda, you know that. I gave you that date already. So Linda calls me up every month. Where are you guys going to be at next month? Where are you guys going to be at? So just in case fans are missing him.
There you go.
There he
The
is.
devil.
So at the Great North Wrestling event, with every ticket sold, get a free beaver tail sandwich signed by Hannibal.
With lotion in the basket.
All right, enough messing around.
Yeah.
So LA wrote this wonderful book, which I'm excited to read. Andrew, I know you read it. Can you give me a quick synopsis to the fans, what the book's about and why they should get it?
Well, way back in the early 1920s, 1930s, pro wrestling was located in all port cities across the world, and it was basically mob run. Pro wrestling was mob run, just like it was regulated by sports athletic commissions, as was boxing, but the mob pretty much had control of it. Now, the stories in old school, if you really are a wrestling historian, or if you know the stories about the territories and the characters from Paul Bowser to Paul Bosch to Vince McMahon Sr. to Eddie Graham, all the way down to Sam Munchnick, Vern Gagne, the names have been changed, not necessarily to protect the reputations or the people involved, but just so we can make it a little bit more interesting. Some of the stuff was Linda can describe where she got more of the characters from. It's all from the fertile mind and imagination of Kevin Sullivan, But Kevin is a wrestling historian, and we just wanted to make sure that wrestling history was preserved. But this is more, we're opting more for to get this put out as a screenplay for a Netflix series or a Hulu series or even an HBO original series. I mean, because it's something that we've been well, Linda's been writing it for 5 years, and I've been trying to get her to put it out for the past 3. And then a year ago, she finally got a publisher and got it put together, and we sort of got it out there. And it's just something that we really have been trying. Linda's obviously, Kevin was the brains behind all the stories and the twists, the angles, and the history involved. Linda was the glue that gelled it all together and put it into words that flow so beautifully out of that book. Because, I mean, once you read the book, you get hooked. You can't stop at just chapter 1. You just go through. So you got to binge read the book because it all comes together. And as you start reading that book, you will realize who is who in pro wrestling history, what characters, who the Sheik is, the original Sheik, not the Iron Sheik, the original Sheik, and Detroit and everything. It's all just put together so well, and it flows. And there's a lot more history as wrestling evolves, or as I say, wrestling devolves. It becomes a fertile ground for further books. I mean, over the years, this is just one era. And Kevin's lived through, almost 6 decades of wrestling. So
7, actually. It's going into 7.
Yeah, wrestling. So now all that experience and all that knowledge and all the stories and everything that happened, the politics, all the way down to the literal political characters, figures, and seedy mob-like characters to promoters, and because we all know promoters are for the most part, cut from the same cloth. They're out to make money. And it's the mob always has a habit of getting their hands in stuff in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, the 20s. I mean, it was the way things were. People kind of knew that wrestling was, they said it was fixed back then, but like Bill Apter said, for something to be fixed, it had to be broken. Wrestling was always on the cusp of suspension of belief. But the mob utilized that, and they took advantage of people, and people would actually bet on pro wrestling back then. And Linda, you could elaborate more on everything else on basically how it was all put together and how it gelled.
Yeah, LA, can you elaborate some more?
Kevin is still prevalent in the wrestling business, which brings him into 7 decades. Mm-hmm. It's pretty remarkable. And I got that was a treasure trove of information for me. And as I started to question him and interrogate him, the motion picture just went crazy in my head. And I started putting on paper, and it is a great story. I did not make up the story. I did elaborate it. I did fictionalize it, but it is a fucking great story. And it is about the history, which needs to be preserved, because this business, you got to remember, it chewed guys up and spit them out. And, and that was the whole reason for me to write this book, what the business does to the...
It flows like a screenplay. It was written originally as a screenplay.
First of all, I wrote it in a male voice because that book needed to be written in a male voice. So we're not women in the business. They considered them cunts. They called them cunts. I've got newspaper articles and personal letters from the Santos families. I've got files of these newspaper articles from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. And I mean, that was my research. Just look at how they applied it to the newspaper. Those sports writers spun that shit remarkably. And so, yeah, it's just that world was different than it is now, and it needs to be preserved. And people need to remember. And there's people, they make a living off of talking about that. That's time past, and it was a great era. It was a great era.
How did you and Kevin meet, Lynn, if I can ask?
Oh, what do you think? In a gym. He said I leaped over like a gazelle. Spot me, huh? Yeah. He dropped away doing a skull crusher. Did I leap over? Whatever. Harry Smith's we met. Harry Smith's in Tampa.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you know who he was? Did you know who he was?
I knew he was a wrestler with that bleached out, washed out look.
Oh man! Oh my God!
Man, that's boy.
Sorry. I said, boy, this guy's weathered the road.
Oh Jesus!
Well, you know, he's the devil. What can I say?
That's why I'm not
Man,
saying
he's the
anything.
devil.
I'm not messing with the devil.
So
Are you kidding me?
I gotta ask you. So we've gotten to know Kevin.
Kevin's
and
awesome.
Through Andrew and everything
Great
else.
man.
Really great guy.
He's awesome.
But like, what's like a night hanging out with Kevin Sullivan? Does he like just talk about wrestling 24/7 and you're like, just
He
shut
used to.
shut
Well,
up?
That's where. No, because I'm his wife. But he can't hear, and he's on the speakerphone. So yes, I hear it 24/7.
I mean, do you turn the corner and
everybody he's talking to all day long since he got a cell phone.
it doesn't get crazy though? You don't like turn the corner, go in the kitchen. He's got the makeup on. I mean, there's nothing like that though. Right? I just want to make sure.
He's not the scary clown.
But
he's the
he's the devil. No, I figured he'd have something on his face, like you know. Oh my God, I'd be afraid.
By the way, LA,
I'd be afraid.
I have to ask you this question. Donna Barber's asking, do you assist people with their autobiographies? And if so, can you help Hannibal write his autobiography?
No, just because I have a beaver doesn't mean I'm going for the beaver.
Besides the line, you'll get his liner notes in crayon. Never mind.
All right,
Never mind.
Back to the book.
Are you sure?
We heard Andrew as a fan.
Yes.
On why a wrestling fan or even maybe a mob fan would like this type of book.
Sure.
LA, can you explain to the fans why this is a must-read if you're a wrestling or a mob
First
fan?
of all, every good story starts with a mob character. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right.
So, and as I started to do the research and I started to look into it and I started to listen to my husband, and then I looked at the antitrust lawsuit in the 50s. It was elementary that it was mob run. And like Andrew says, 30s, 40s, 50s, port towns. I did create a story. It's fictionalized. I've got Lucky Luciano in there, where my character meets Lucky, and it spins off into something later. But the timeline was just perfect, and that's why I did that. But it was, it was with the advent of television too, and there were only two things that were cheap to produce on television when in the 40s when TV came out, and it was boxing and wrestling. And wrestling was still considered a sport back then. So those two things incited me to write this book. And also when you look back at like people like the Tiger Man, the guy who shaved his teeth and he bit his opponents and he mauled them in the ring. I mean, how rich is that? Does it get any better than that? You're talking about 1920. These are guys that were, they came off of war, they couldn't get a job, and they became wrestlers, strongmen.
It was like
any
strongmen
thoughts?
versus
Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead.
strongmen versus we're all characters. You know what I'm saying? When Mighty Joe come across the ravine over there with the rope.
Mighty Joe Young.
Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Those were guys from that. Those were all wrestlers from that era.
That's true. That is true.
Primo Carnera, all those characters. Those guys, right, Linda?
And he was a boxer, and he actually gave up the glove, the drop kick, and he's actually in the first chapter of the book where the guys are sitting around the table forming the territories. And like I said, the timeline. With the information Kevin gave me, and then I started to fictionalize it, and all this historical shit just landed and fell perfectly into the whole timeline. And that motion picture went in my head, and it was like, yeah. And you asked me before, I wrote it in a male voice, but I also did write it for TV because it is The Sopranos meets professional wrestling. Without
that sounds good.
It sounds very good.
That sounds really good. Yeah. Did a Gorgeous George character by any chance come into this anywhere? Because to me, he was pre 1947, but we got that cheeky guy.
Okay.
that likes to powder his nose. We got him. We got, I mean, and they're all amalgamated characters. It is fictionalized. They're amalgamated. They are a string and a fiber of every little person or every little story. And I did recreate these characters. So, yeah.
And Andrew, you've been on Gotham. I mean, how hard is it? You know, obviously this sounds awesome, and you want to get it to Netflix or somebody like that. How hard is it to get it to the ears and eyes of a big time producer like it at Netflix?
Now we're shopping it around to various producers. Actually, with screenwriter who wants to try to adapt it. Even though Linda wrote it as a screenplay, they're going to change it anyway.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're shopping it around. We have an agency that we're going to be working with, and we're going to shop it to Netflix and a couple other places and see what happens, man. Our Home Shopping Network wants to produce it and put it out there. It'll be something new. And, you know, I mean, look, this was from an era when the only three things you had on TV was horse racing, boxing, and pro wrestling. The rest were all game shows. Okay,
right.
So now we're gonna explore that. You know, I mean, you have all these shows now. You got stuff on the 1950s. You got stuff. You go back in time now to The Sopranos in the 60s and the 70s. They're going back and showing that. Why don't we show how wrestling evolved into what it is today?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This shows how it began, how carny it was. And yet the carny portion of it was enhanced by the sleaziness and the seediness of these mobsters, which were like Lucky Luciano, which were like Al Capone and other people. You know, I mean, and then you have the rich history like the Toots Mondt, the Vince McMahon Sr., Paul Bowser, Paul Bosch, Sam Munchnick, the whole California territories, the LaBelles and everything. I mean, they're all from port cities. That's the one thing that Kevin always stresses and Linda always stressed to me, that if you notice, all the mob stuff was always in port cities in Chicago. You know, I mean, it was always like that was the way it was. Detroit with the Sheik. So you always had that one common thread, and that's what puts it all together. And we'll get it out there. Me and Linda made a vow to each other that we're going to see this produced in our lifetime, right, Linda?
There you go.
Yeah, we're partners. He's my man. He's my guy. Andrew's my guy.
So, LA, here's an interesting question, right? I'm not the best writer in the world. So when you write this book, then you have a proofreader. How tough was it for the proofreader to correct any kind of grammar or spelling errors?
No, well, the computer does that, and I was pretty good at English, and what I had to do is point of view and head hopping. I did a lot of head hopping, so I wrote the book, then I rewrote it. I probably rewrote it 20 times. I had two different editors. One was a creative editor, and then one was a copy editor. And so, and still she caught head hopping. So head hopping is when you have a chapter and it's one person's point of view, only that person can breathe that chapter. And sometimes I would sneak in, oh, well, he thought. No, nobody else can think in that other person's point of view. So I learned a lot. Writing is...
And another note, me and Linda managed to sort of slip the book to director Michael Bay in California to make. Actually, he's in California. I think he also has offices in Florida, I think. But we managed to slip it to him through a friend of ours, Craig Massey, and who's working on a video game / movie series with Michael Bay. And so we have that little ace in the hole over there that we're trying to really get it through, you know. So.
By the way, Jeff Rumplick says out there, here's an interesting idea for a series. Each show is a mini bio of a different wrestler. That would be pretty cool.
That could be a spinoff.
That could. Well, back to the book. I want the fans to know where they can find this book, where they can order it. LA, can you share with that where we can get this book?
It's numerous sites, but I have a website and a publicist that manages my Instagram and my website. And if you go to ringsquared.wordpress.com, it has the information on there. And a gallery of photos, everybody holding the book up.
Excellent.
Well, they could just look it up on Amazon.
Oh, you can Google Ring Squared Old School and it'll come up on Amazon.
Yeah, so, I know a lot of people on Amazon, so.
Cool. So, LA, you make this baby, right? It's your baby. It's just this
my
5-year,
baby.
right? Your hard work.
Yeah, but 4 years worth of labor? Ow!
That is a long time.
That's a big baby. Go on.
Bigger than. Anyway, I don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm out there. Next.
How tough is it to put that out there in fear that someone puts the book down? Does it take do you have to have really tough skin to be in that type of business?
Nah, I'm not worried about that. It is a great story. And every time I read it, and I'm working on the second, I got 80,000 words for the second story. It's called Palooka Punch. I mean, I got 3 stories sketched out, three not stories, series. So, no, I'm not worried about it because, no, that's part of the wrestling business. You like it or you can dislike it, but you know what? The shit's good.
Well,
I didn't make it up.
you've already made a fan out there. Vicente Guerrero says he loves your accent.
I'm Connecticut.
That's is that an
How
accent?
exotic!
Is that an accent?
Tri-state, baby.
Oh my God!
But,
Gonna have one of the
he
characters.
loves my accent.
Hey, you know what my Uncle fucking Junior said? You know, you better come buy the fucking book right now. If you're not, I'm gonna call out Bada Bing Bada Boom to come and fuck you up.
Hey, T. It's T.
Hey, Kevin.
Well, thank
Kevin,
you.
I was going to say Kevin.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Yeah.
We've
Yes.
known each other a long time. We've known each other a pretty long time now. One thing that always interests me about you is where did your love of comic books and science fiction come from?
Shit. Oh,
It came from.
that's what. When I was a kid, I remember my father took me to a candy store, and I just remember seeing the first comic book I ever remember seeing was I think the Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, and I looked at all these colorful characters and stuff like that. And I don't think I could even read at the time, but I was mesmerized by it. And then I remember seeing, I used to, the way the Thing looked like I used to think the Thing was a giant cheese doodle of the Fantastic.
Very funny.
The Thing,
A cheese doodle. Okay.
Masters and these Viewmasters comic scenes on it. I would watch these Viewmasters until I realized then there was reruns of Batman with Adam West, and then it was like this is Superman, and I would see all this stuff, and then comics, and then I totally fell in love with Captain America. Which, by the way, Captain America brings me to Chris Evans, and Chris Evans is the love of Nicole's, Linda's daughter, Nicole's life. She's a very big Chris Evans, and today happens to be Nicole's birthday, and I want Monte The Pharaoh and Linda, all of us together at the same time, to wish Nicole a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you.
to Nicole.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Nicole.
There we go.
And we all love you too. Except when I step in Odin and Thor's poo.
Well, we got private jokes going on here.
Zeus.
Ay.
All right, so the question I have now, L.A., when was the first day you met Andrew Anderson, and what was your first thoughts of Andrew Anderson?
Boy.
Andrew, when did we finally meet? Because we were like phone pals, and you met Nicole before you met me. Oh, you went to Nigeria with Kevin. That's when you first met Kevin, right?
First met you, and we first started talking. You and I first started talking since 2011, but we didn't meet actually till just this September. Physically meet.
We went to Vegas together. Yeah.
And we raised hell in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
It was me and her all day long together at the merchandise tables, right?
Oh yeah, in the pool. No, in the pool, getting sunburned.
In the pool, yeah, had a good time,
All right,
no
so
sunscreen for us.
All right, so wait a minute.
No
I got to understand this. You knew each other since 2011, but you never met physically until last year.
I've been busy writing a book. I don't leave the house. What do you not understand?
That's right. She was doing The Shining.
I'm a recluse.
There you go.
Yeah, I think Kevin broke her legs and made her finish the book.
Is that what it was? Wow, he's rough.
Yeah, it was like that movie with
Misery?
what was the name?
Misery?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No,
By the
but
way,
you know what? One thing about Kevin is he used to say, because I didn't know a lot of shit about the wrestling business. And then I'd record him, and he'd say, "Where the fuck you get that? I never told you that." I said, let me replay it.
Press
or
play.
then I'd say, "How do you not know that shit?"
Press play.
Because
All right,
you.
LA, so you finally meet Andrew. Am I assuming you met him at the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Yes, I did.
So here's a question for you, not that you're not so much into wrestling. What kind of freaks go to the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Here we go.
Tell me from your
Andrew,
perspective,
sign my shoe.
The freaks that show up there.
And you can
at the
answer that question.
Andrew's going to be nice. He's going to be nice. Go ahead.
When I start bringing Linda to the Comic Cons, she has seen nothing. Cauliflower Alley is normal.
That's true. I've been to those comic book conventions. Yeah, that's true.
Cons and art shows, you see all the freaks, geeks, midgets, and pretty ladies. Worse than pro wrestling.
Those are little people. That's little people to you.
Andrew, what's very important to us is I need to know one thing from you, sir. Which do you like more, sushi or sashimi? Or do you not want to really take a choice here and you want to stay neutral?
What the fuck?
Listen, I've been neutral through everything you guys
Tail.
Andrew feels strongly both ways. He likes both sides of the beaver. I don't understand this. What's going on here? Oh, my God.
You know about me, and you know this. I stay neutral. I'm like Switzerland. I stay out of all the bullshit. I keep my reputation clean. I don't do anything. I try to keep everybody happy. That's what I try to keep the peace. I always try that.
So Andrew, if we understand your position, but real fast, what's your take on SWE Fury exploding like an ass after eating White Castle?
That's exactly what happened. It exploded and ruined everything else and caused new galaxies. Because I mean that had potential, man. That had real great potential.
Good Lord,
went
man.
down faster. I mean, somebody. I don't know. There was a lot of chicanery going around there. I would love to know really what happened myself.
Is it that menace? Is it that menace who resides up in Canada, or is it just wherever he goes, or or something else? Okay, just checking.
That was the start when Hannibal broke off with them. That was the start of it. That was the first swirl as it went down the toilet. That was just the first swirl.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
Opening salvo from the battleship that sunk the ocean liner. So there was SW.
Understood.
But right now I'm not worried about SWE. I'm working for a great company and in World Class Wrestling Revolution.
There you go.
And Bostic's company and me and Kevin were just there. We had a great successful weekend as the Dungeon of Doom with my new partner Ivan Warsaw. Awesome. And we tore it up with the tag team champions, the OMGs, in a place that we really love and call home. Kevin and I are friends with Tony and Marie, the owners of Southern Junction, and Eric Embry and Kevin and Jerry Bostic and James Beard. They're all working great together. They got a great thing going, and I hope it really flies. And I just think it's a wonderful venue. We're going to have 3 dates there in WrestleMania weekend, 3 shows. I think a Friday, Saturday. I think a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday show at Southern Junction in Irving, Texas. So, go to look at World Class Wrestling Revolution or World Class Revolution and look at that and check it out. See what dates we're at. I'm going to be, however, in the UK on February 16th to the 21st for World Pro Wrestling with a host of other American wrestlers like Hernandez, Two Cold Scorpio, some Japanese wrestlers like Tajiri and a couple other guys. We're going to be tearing it up in the UK. And when I get back, I hit, I want to say I'm either going to be in the Dog Pound Championship Wrestling on the 26th, or I'm going to be at Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida. I still haven't confirmed either way, but Championship Wrestling from Florida is working on the 26th in Waimama Convention Center in Waimama, Florida. And I know the Dog Pound is running. Roddy Mack and Jazz have a great school and a great company over there, and they're running in San Antonio, Texas. And either company, whichever one I'm working for that night on the 26th, I'm going to be happy to be working for them. And, I just love working and getting out there, and I love treating people with fairness and kindness and love and respect. And that's what it's all about. And, I don't like to go out and mudsling. Sometimes I do have my opinions, and I get pissed off, and people mistreat me and treat me like shit. but I really do really appreciate the business and the people in it. And I wouldn't be here. And it's all a work saying I'm the star of the movie The Wrestler, but that little gimmick that people took out of whack because I said it because as to get cheap heat in the ring, it really did launch me to places, things that I never thought I would be doing. I never thought I'd be on Gotham. I never thought I'd have a Skittles Doritos commercial. I never thought I'd be in Sneaky Pete. I never thought I'd be on FBI's Most Wanted, CSI coming up and all this stuff coming on. It's really great. Hell, it opened up a brand new world. And Kevin, I thank Kevin a lot for taking me under his wing and teaching me. And one of the things that Kevin has told me from day one is that he's teaching me not only how to improve myself as a wrestler, because you're always learning as a professional wrestler, but he wants to teach me the behind the scenes stuff, the production, the booking, the matchmaking, all the behind the scenes stuff. And so I sit and I learn and I absorb like a sponge. It was like him under Eddie Graham and Vince Sr. He just learned like a sponge, and that's what I'm doing. I'm sponging it up.
Well, I gotta tell the fans out there, Andrew. After that promo, I've read LA's book, and it's excellent.
And I got a beard. Look at me. I was clean shaven when this started. That's great. That is great. Oh man, Andrew, you forgot to mention you're awesome. In the dungeon right here on the Monte and the Pharaoh channel with Kevin Sullivan. Hello.
But I didn't want my balls off because I don't have an episode for him because our producer Matty Rock is in Vegas now. I don't have an episode.
You know what? Either way, insert cheap plug here. Go.
Every Saturday at 9 p.m. on the Monte The Pharaoh.
That's right. That's right.
Now known as the Purple Haze, alongside the devil himself, the Taskmaster, the Prince of Darkness. Right next to him, Matty Rock, who's producing the show, the cigar aficionado, bourbon lovers, and everybody. We're having a little bit of everything. We haven't had Linda on. The only reason why we hadn't had Linda on because we didn't want to make it look like it was blatant nepotism.
Andrew, by the way, Davio says out there you're a really big guy and you make a lot of people look small. That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
And then Phil says out there, Andrew, you've been a little tough on the beaver tonight.
Is that the Cesare? That's got to be the Cesare. That's great. Oh, my God. Yeah, what's with being rough on the beaver?
Again, I want the fans to know where can they get this book. Because 802, a lot of people really want to know about the book.
For sure.
Oh, by the way, hold on. I got breaking news. I don't mean to cut in.
Breaking news?
Last week we reported that Blaze and Hannibal broke up. Mr. Wonderful just wants to make it clear.
Okay.
Hannibal and Blaze didn't break up clearly. He has a shoot wrestling credentials and lots of experience for a book.
Okay.
Just throwing that out
Why
there.
is it that I get tired even when I hear comments about him? I'm sleepy now. Find something more interesting, will you?
Anyway, where can we find this book? Again, let's repeat it. Thank you.
ringsquared.wordpress.com.
All right. This is incredible.
On Amazon Books. Go to Amazon Books. Go to Amazon.
Most definitely.
Amazon Books, Ring Squared. Old school.
Yep.
Excellent. So
listen, one last.
Go ahead.
I want to write a song with Wisteria Hall.
With Wisteria, you want to write a song with me and the Bartman? Really? Okay.
Reminds me a lot of Ace Frehley. He was a good friend of mine.
What happened? I heard Ace Frehley. He was breaking up. What about Ace?
Reminds me a lot of Ace.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's Cliff. Cliff is an amazing guitarist.
I can help you guys write a song. We'll call it Let's Eat a Beaver Sandwich today.
How did I know? What a hit that's not.
I just can't get off it. LA, quick question. On March 5th, your husband will be in studio. Will you be coming up here with him?
What day is March 5th?
That's on a Saturday.
He's coming to New York?
He's coming to New York. Are you coming with him?
Maybe.
I think you should.
Okay.
What's for lunch?
I definitely think you should.
Can I have some of that good fucking wine?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Get your whole case. What are you talking about? Yeah. Oh, does the Pharaoh get a final question on this episode?
All right, guys, we're gonna hit you with something called the Pharaoh's final question. It comes out of his head. It's not scripted.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see what he's got to say. Here we go. Pharaoh's final question.
All right, this one's for LA. LA, how hard has it been over the years living? Not just, obviously you're married to a legend, but how difficult was it adjusting to the fact that wrestlers are always on the road?
On the road, oh, that's the easy part. It's when they're home that gets fucking hard.
Oh, shit, she's really cool, man. She really is. She's all right. Okay, all right. So most of the time it's like, hey, we'll watch the Cartoon Network, drink some beers, and write this novel. Very good, very good. Okay, that answered that.
My God.
You got one for Andrew? Wait a minute, I got one for Andrew.
Go ahead.
Hey, Andrew, when is Ace Frehley coming on Monte and the Pharaoh? That's what I want to know.
Comments on that.
Well,
Not
he's
comment.
playing Switzerland. Do you believe this guy? Unbelievable.
Andrew, on
this is
Andrew,
rough, bro.
I'm being 100% serious, and this is from the heart, from both me and Jimmy.
Okay.
We are so glad that we met you, and we
yeah.
consider you a very, very close friend,
doubt, no
and not just a friend, and as a brother. And all joking aside, we have tons of respect for you as a human being, as much as what you've done with your career as a wrestler. So I get, all joking aside, I don't want you to. I know how sometimes you take things a little personal. So
He does.
No, that's Jimmy Farrow.
Are you starting with
He
me
starts
live on the
shit with you,
air?
Jimmy.
And now he's looking at. Don't you give me the Gene Simmons tongue? I want Ace Frehley. Forget Gene Simmons, and you better not bring the fake Frehley guy.
all right.
I don't want
and
the
by
fake
the way,
Frehley.
by the way, Fat Boston Wales empty bank account says, don't forget to donate.
To the Fat Boston Wales.
All right,
empty
so
bank
what
account.
we've learned
Okay.
here, everybody, a few things, if I could make a quick synopsis.
What, then I'm sensitive? We already knew that.
Well, we knew that.
Some
It's going
revelation.
it's going to snow
yeah,
in the
that
Northeast.
Sucks. That sucks.
So we need to go get the book,
Yeah.
right? So we could sit in our living rooms and drink some good fucking wine.
You're going to read it
and
again?
read
You
the
read it
book.
during the promo. You're going to read it twice?
And then on March 5th, LA will be here
Yes.
with Monte The Pharaoh in studio,
Okay, that works.
which is the best is the best part of this whole
Don't you
thing.
think you want to check with Kevin first?
No.
No. Okay, just checking. Just checking. I was just trying to be polite, Mr. Sullivan, if you're listening. He's the devil. What do you want from me? Go on.
Was it Nick Massey?
What's that?
Nick Massey's
Nick
the devil?
On the show and asked me to come on with him.
You keep cutting out. You got to say it again. So let's
One more
say it
time.
one more time.
Nick Massey's bringing Kevin on. He didn't ask to bring me on.
Oh.
I told you that's going to be taken care of.
He
It'll
is
be fun.
sensitive. He is a little
It'll be
sensitive.
fun.
Advertised.
You'll be fine.
Linda-
We'll have you in here. You'll be here. LA will be here, and Kevin will be here. Kevin will drink lots of wine and get drunk on the couch, and then you never know. You never know.
Boy.
You never know. Just
Sounds
never
like
know.
our show. Go on.
All right, guys. I want to thank you, LA. Thank
Yes.
you so much for taking the time out of your
Thank
busy
you.
schedule. Thank you for
Thank you,
the
guys.
great time. Thank you, Kevin. I keep calling you Kevin now, Andrew. I don't know why. I got Kevin on my mind.
they're
Andrew,
in the
thank you
dungeon.
for joining us. And again, thank you for being part of our network, man. You are
Thank you,
our brother.
Andrew.
God bless you both.
Thank you, L.A.
Thank
Put
you
him in the
so
dungeon.
much.
All righty.
Thanks for having me on.
All
You
righty.
got it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Pharaoh.
That was fun.
Another fun interview.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, so we just want to quickly remind everybody
Quickly.
on Sunday, starting at 9:30, I think we have Doink in studio.
All right.
Doink the Clown will be across on the couch.
No
and
dink. I'm safe.
No dink.
I'm safe.
Just Doink.
Okay.
And then I believe at 11 o'clock, we've got one of my top 10 most favorite wrestlers,
Absolutely.
Barry Windham.
Oh, boy. Fantastic.
And already scheduled as
Wisteria
Chris
Hall
Lee has
Rednecks, don't
pinned.
forget to-
The Wisteria Hall Rednecks will be singing Rap is Crap.
This is going to be great.
Davio says, fun show tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Jason,
Davio.
fun show. Chris
you,
Lee,
Jay.
great show.
Thank you, Chris.
Again, I tell you, LA, I can't wait to read that book.
She's awesome.
Very, very entertaining person.
She's awesome.
And, it's funny, if anyone doesn't know, we were talking to LA before the show, and she was like, I'm really shy or whatever else. She's not shy.
Not shy. She's from New York.
She's from
What are
New
you
York.
talking about? With some Connecticut mix.
And Andrew,
That's her accent.
Andrew is always entertaining. Maria says, great show.
Thank you, Maria.
Marty, which drink? What does that mean?
Good fucking wine.
802, Barry, can't effing wait. We, at our old studio, we interviewed Barry, which we loved that interview,
Yeah,
but the studio wasn't as high quality as this television studio, so we're really looking forward to kind of revisiting that interview.
Absolutely.
Not asking the same questions,
No.
or maybe some of them,
Like we do anything
but
twice.
very excited for Barry in studio.
Unbelievable.
And we really hope everybody joins us. Raleigh, always a great show.
I'm
Thank
still
you.
trying to absorb that we're going to be jamming rap is crap with Barry. This is fucked up in a very good way.
It's a very
I
good
am
one.
pretty pumped about this one.
All right, well, this has been Thursday night. Again, we thank you all. There is a possibility we're going to go live at 9 a.m. before Doink to do a recap on the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So if anyone wants to make a little coffee,
Join us.
Join us. It'll be a little fun. And again, we just want to thank everybody for joining us. On this special day, I'm going to ask our great producer to send us out.
Maddie, you have the honors, kiddo.
This has been Monte The Pharaoh with Mike and Jimmy and Matt. See you next week. Or actually, see you on Sunday.